All good?
Good to go, yeah.
Good to go. Stuart, first time back in the dugout at Fir Park this weekend since you left. How are you feeling about heading back?
No, fine. I think I've been back to an old club before, so it's something that happens in football, not just for myself, but for a lot of different people. A wee bit ironic in some ways. I think the last time I seen a lot of the people that will be there was at my wedding, so I think that gives you an indication of the relationship that I had with players and staff and everybody else. So from that side of it, it's always nice to see friends and people that you would speak to and socialise with. But I mean, ultimately Motherwell will be trying to win the game of football, and so will we. I'm very much invested into the job that I've got here, and I think we've got a big task to go and try and win the game on Saturday, because they've started well and they're playing well. You look forward to those challenges. I think in looking at how they play, it presents a different challenge, a different thought process, and I always say it, and I need to be consistent with that. You want to challenge yourself with different tasks, different styles of football, pitting your wits against different managers, and I think that will be the case this weekend.
Is this maybe a different version of going back to an old club though, just given the way things ended and the relationship with the fans and how it got towards the end?
It might be for some people, I'll be honest with you, it might be for some people. It's certainly not for myself. I say that when I come out, I certainly don't wish Motherwell any ill health or bad luck or anything like that at all, but I've firmly got a job to do here at Kilmarnock. I can't really control what narrative people will put on it. I can't really control the angle that will come from that. I think we could all see that there was a lot of support towards myself, and that from the fan base, from the staff, from the players. But you know what? Ultimately, they move on, and I move on, and that's kind of how I see it in football. We can see how tumultuous this can be in Scotland in football, and how opinions and thought processes and everything change. Again, I can't control it at all. From my side, I want to go and try and win 3 points with this Kilmarnock side, with the backing of the supporters. And then from there we see what happens at 3 o'clock on Saturday. So I'll not get too lost in it, but understand other people might do.
Is that the main thing? If there is any negativity surrounding the whole thing, that you're there to do your job, you're just going to be focused on the football and not what's going on around you? Yeah,
that's how I've always been. I try to act as professional as I possibly can. This isn't about me, it's really not about me, it's about the players that are going to be on the pitch. Those guys will be able to influence it come 3 o'clock. My job's to try and influence it between now and then to make sure we're as well prepared as we possibly can. I hope you can all see, and I hope you all know that I genuinely have never felt that any of this is about me. I think a lot of people have got a different mindset from myself as to what a manager's like. I believe in being humble. I believe in not having an ego, and genuinely that is where I sit. Get your head down, do your job, try and help your players. It's never about me, it's about trying to support and help your players and trying to get the best out of your group that you possibly can. So again, that's where that mindset might differ from managers, coaches, supporters, press, whatever it might be, but that's where I've always sat, and I've been pretty consistent in that.
It's been an unbeaten start to the season, I think you mentioned at the weekend, but what do you think the extra 5 and 10% is that you need your team to do to get that first win?
I don't think there's masses in the 3 games. I think disappointed with the goals we concede later on in a second half against Livingston. Disappointed with the goals we concede in the first half against Hibs. Disappointed we don't capitalise on our opportunities. So sometimes it's probably that wee bit easier if it's the one thing over that 3 games. But I'm really happy with the start that we've had here. I think there would have been a lot of people sitting waiting to see, with a new manager, a new group of players, a complete overhaul, how that looks, and sometimes maybe want to see if you fall flat in your face. We've not done anything, we've not achieved anything at all. All we've done is we've had a pretty solid start. We find ourselves into the latter stages of a cup competition, and we find ourselves on this unbeaten run that we've mentioned a few times. But that's not just handed to us. We've had to work heck of a hard to get that, but we just feel that we possibly could have had a few more points in there. And it is the marginal gains, it's the tiny little bits that would change that points tally from 3 to whatever, 6, 7, maybe potentially more. So but we're not sitting festering on that. It's about what we do this weekend and what we do moving forward that will define it.
And looking at the game, obviously Motherwell being praised for their style of play, quite fluent, especially that first half against Hearts. What type of game are you expecting at the weekend?
No, I think it will be two contrasting shapes, you know, two contrasting thought processes. So yeah, I think what Motherwell have shown is that they're very, very open, very expansive. So you need to be able to deal with that. You need to be able to try and handle the threats that they've got. Again, I know a lot of the players have signed a lot of them myself. So you know the qualities that they've got. You know that they carry a real threat. And we have to make sure that we're able to capitalise on that. On the other side of it, when we have the ball, I think a lot of people will see that at times we've maybe handled it better as the weeks have went on ourselves, and you know, we'll try to spend that wee bit more time on the ball. But again, ultimately it's who executes what they want to do best, and we sincerely hope that's us at the weekend.
Heading into the final few days of the transfer window, are you expecting any more business? Do you want to do any more business?
It's really depending on a couple of factors. So as I sit here just now, I can't click my fingers and bring more players in. I keep saying time and again, we want to try and have as balanced a squad as we possibly can, as many options as we can possibly get, along with keeping the harmony in the group as well. You know, we're not going to be able to carry 30 odd players and keep everybody happy. So pretty much what we depend on at this minute is that, you know, the right opportunity comes about. We're not sitting here with a sack full of cash either to be able to just bring in who we fancy and who we want. So trying to balance things off, not to have too many players, but also make sure that if we are able to do any business, it falls within this kind of structure that we have, this financial structure that we have at the football club. So I can't say yes, but I also can't say no at this point.
Stuart, just about yourself, you feel a kind of better, stronger manager for having made the decision you did in January and having that time away from football refreshed when you're going back?
Listen, I've always felt that I'm go back to that humble element of it. I always think that you become better through seeing different challenges and seeing different, you know, I've worked at 3 different clubs as a manager. I would believe that I'm getting better from that. I always kind of felt that's what I was as a player, someone that realised what I'm not good at and what I can't do, and working exceptionally hard to try and change that and become better. And I think not having that ego allows you to develop and grow and understand where you're wrong and where you've missed the opportunities to do things right. So yeah, I hope the answers to that is yes, but I don't really think that's my place to say. I think that's for other people to judge based on results, performances, player development, etc, etc. You know, me sitting here and telling you 100% I'm a better manager and I'm a better person, I don't think that's ever my place to say. I think one of my pet hates is this phrase that you hear all the time now in sport is I'm really proud of myself. I'm never going to sit in front of you and tell you I'm really proud of myself, so other people can judge that.
Take it from a different perspective, and you feel refreshed from having that break? Is it almost like you have to do that in football because it's so intense, and I know you work long days? And
no, I wasn't. I wouldn't be sitting in January saying that I was, you know, on my knees, energy levels, you know, within your the psychological side or anything like that. So, but I think what you do is when that time out the game's there, I think you need to try and utilise it. I think you need to try and understand where you've done things right, where you've done things wrong, but also start to press forward and think about what the next opportunity is. And if you get that opportunity, because that's never guaranteed, what do you intend to do with it and how are you going to try and implement that? So I genuinely believe from the most negative aspects in football are your most teachable moments. That's how I've always felt, because when we do things right, we celebrate it, we go and party, we go and enjoy ourselves. I don't really know if you're learning too much from that, but I think from the adversity you can often pick up a lot of pointers and how you might work, how you might act, when you speak, when you don't speak. But that's how I've always operated.
How's the squad looking heading into Saturday?
Well, we're obviously going to have to monitor Jamie Brandon. I think everyone could see that he came off feeling his groin at the weekend, so we'll have a look at him and see whether he's able to start the game, whether he's able to play in the game. And then out with that, we managed to get some more minutes into a few players on Tuesday night against East Fife, another one of the Challenge Cup games, which is beneficial for us. We've got a lot of young players playing in that, but it was also a wee opportunity just to try and get more minutes into the likes of Marley Watkins, Tom Lowry and Jack Thompson.
Brilliant, cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.